Hello and welcome to F2 Fan 5000's recap of the Australian round of the FIA Formula 3 Championship. The Australian round of the feeder series was very chaotic. Unfortunately, it's not very representative of the pecking order, and there's a lot that we don't know. However, Formula 3 fared better than Formula 2 when it came to getting running, so there's some things to talk about. In practice and in qualifying and in the feature race, we've seen Rafael Camara absolutely dominate. Not a question of if, it's a question of when he wraps up the title in 2025. He surely is the favourite. He looks unbeatable. I don't know who can unseat him. Now let's talk about qualifying, because qualifying has set the tone for the two races. What happened in qualifying is that there's not many representative lap times. And there's this order. Okay, I agree that Camara and Stromstead are the fastest two drivers. But behind that, it's completely dependent upon who got a lap time in before the red flags. And most of the last push laps were ruined by the red flag caused by Brando Badoa. But the drivers that went in the gap got a time on the board. I'm talking Teofil Nal, Nikita Bedrin. They've got the lap in, and they're staying at the front because... Starting with the sprint race, we've got the reverse grid. So we've got drivers that are in the mid-pack, and I don't know why they are there. It's hard to explain. But basically, what happened, because of the qualifying, these are the slowest drivers are the ones that set a representative lap, or the fastest drivers that hadn't set a representative lap. And they're sort of 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. They've been pushed to the front of the sprint race, and it's a little bit hard to overtake at Albert Park, but still I think Martinius Stenson has done a good job. He looks quick. Santiago Ramos did well to hold on to the victory. There were a couple of drivers that came from lowly grid positions to score points. I'm looking at Callum Voisin and Nikola Solov. And Noel Leon, he scored 10th place. Going to the feature race, as I said, except for those front two Trident cars, I feel as though the grid is very random, and because of the heavy rain, it's very hard to overtake. So what we've seen is the qualifying session has set a random grid, not a representative grid, and we've had one reverse grid sprint race, and then we've had a feature race where that random order has been set, has been sort of, that's the order, and it can't change because the rain is heavy and you can't overtake, and half the laps are done under safety car anyway. I mean, firstly, I have to say that's a little bit unfair, because cometh the hour, cometh the man. In that qualifying session, those drivers were very smart to go in the gap or to get those laps in when they did, because they avoided the red flag. Now, did they or their engineers predict that there would be a red flag? Did they foresee that? Did they, Brando Badoa, Christian Ho, did they know that was going to happen? I don't know, maybe they did, but fair play. And then in the feature race, they've held on to those positions. And, you know, Nikita Bedrin is now 4th in the Drivers' Championship. That's a wonderful result for AIX. And as you know, in the Formula 2, the AIX are also having a great time. Teofil Nal, you know, he put that great lap in the gap. Like, he was quick. And that's fair play to him. Having looked at everything, the thing I've learned about the order, it looks as though that Campos is very quick. I mentioned Nikola Solov. He was coming through the field from a low grid position. And Tazanopol Inthra who was struggling at the back of the grid last year in the AIX, has scored very decent points here today. Notice how he overtook Matthias Zagazetti into the last few laps of the sprint race. So I think Campos have a good car. Mari Boyer was coming through the field, not as quickly as Nikola Solov, but these two drivers were impacted by the red flag. I think looking at I think the High Tech is a good car. I think both Stenson and Dufek are ones to watch out for. I think they're quick. It wasn't obvious this weekend for Dufek, but for Stenson, he whenever I saw him, he's always on the attack, right? He's trying to overtake someone. So I think Stenson is one to watch out for. And, of course, Trident. Trident look amazing. It doesn't matter what happened this weekend. Rain, hail, shine, heat, red flags, safety cars. Trident are always on top. And it's not only Rafael Camara, although Rafael Camara is the one that is the fastest, definitely. But Noah Stromstead looks to be the second fastest driver. He is clearly ahead. It looks like those two. Stromstead is clearly the favourite for second in the championship, which I think is excellent. Obviously early days, but he's looked quick in practice. He's looked quick in testing. He was quick in qualifying. He's clearly ahead of where Charlie Wirtz is. I think at this early stage you can book him in. Rafael Camara, 2023 Formula 3 champion. Noah Stromstead, vice champion. I think that's fairly straightforward. I don't think this is going to be a season where there's a lot of people competing for the title at all. No. However, looking further back, I also forgot Tim Tramnitz. He looks very strong. And again, cometh the hour, cometh the man. Nikita Bedrin. I think he was smart to go, somehow he's just gotten points out of this weekend when it looked like, other people struggled to make that impact. Not because he's fast, because he read the conditions and he's maximised the opportunity. But I don't know where he goes from here. He's got a season in the Santalok car in Frecker. He signed up for that, so I don't think we're going to see him at every race. ART looked lost. Prema looked struggled. Obviously, as I said, it's not representative, but I didn't see anything particularly amazing from these two teams at all the whole weekend. Whether it was qualifying, whether it was practice, whether it was dry running on the sprint race, whether it was wet running on the feature race, they both Prema looked okay and ART looked lost. And I'm not sure why. MP Tremnitz is the only one that made an impression. Giustio Del Pino might step up, or maybe they won't. I don't know. Van Amersfoort looks stronger. I think the Ramos-Nahl combination might push this VRAR team further up the pecking order. Roden look like they have untapped potential. I don't think they're as strong as Trident or Campos at this stage, but there looks to be untapped potential. Belinsky had a wonderful podium. No one had him down as a favourite. Well, not a favourite. No one's saying, have an eye on Roman Belinsky. He's going to do well, but he did get the podium, fighting with Stenson for that second place. Excellent work from him. Sharp has shown flashes of pace. Voisin has come he's come through for points in that sprint race, despite a lowly starting position. AIX, not much to say really. Marinancelli's where you would expect. I expected a bit more from Segura, but let's see how it goes. Dams are probably stronger than I thought they would be. I thought they'd struggle a lot. LeCourte has a little bit of pace. Zagazeta, the most experienced driver there, looks as though he might be able to get them points from now and then. That's about it, really. But clearly, Trident lead the way. Kamara is the red hot favourite. I'd say Stromstead is the hot favourite for second in the championship. Behind that, it's anything goes. Everything's up for grabs. And maybe you're going to get a promotion to a good F2 seat next year. Maybe that's what you can hope for. But I think the F2 title is set. Game set and match. Done. Finished. But working out the pecking order behind the Trident duo of Stromstead and Kamara, that's going to be the interesting thing going forward. That's what we're going to look out for. And as I said, that'll help determine the F2 grid for next season. Should be very exciting. We've got to wait another month, but can't wait for it.